I'm just gonna let it play over you, but
That's cool. I'm with you.
hey guys,
Anyway,
and really quick,
Hello.
off-air comment. No, Sean, I'm not restarting this thing.
No, I didn't ask you to.
I'm just glad you found the actual broadcast button because you started playing the music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
waiting for it.
Yeah, I don't like
found
your
it.
name today.
I'm
just keep
so
knowing.
proud of you. I'm so proud of you
Try something
today.
else.
No, just keep Noman's fine.
No, I don't like it. Weird.
All right. So what do you want? Keep Noman. Is that what you want?
That would have been.
Actually,
That would have been great.
See, well, here's the
Keep
thing. I
Noman,
tried it.
Noman.
It won't go the whole way. It won't go the whole way.
It's
It's too long.
Somehow I
Too
doubt
many
that. I doubt that.
too many characters.
King Gnomes, kick it
yeah.
off.
Back in the day when only put so many characters in a field and hit send.
Oh.
I know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
100
that was my first thought. That was just
You kids out there, y'all
No,
realize that
no,
all the
no,
shorthand
no.
you use now started because we only had the 9 buttons with 3 letters on it.
Hey.
We were tired of typing.
We're all older than Google.
Thank you, Sean.
We are.
That was a visual gag, by the way, if you were just listening.
We're all older than Google. That's a true statement. It's a weird statement to say, but it's true. We're
Yeah.
older than Wikipedia.
And for those of you who are thinking that we're
in
old,
the MCU. I mean,
that doesn't take much though. My daughter's older than the MCU. What's your point?
There's a lot of people older than the MCU.
Yeah.
I was going back for
the only
a
people that
little
are going to see
further.
that as old are going to be people who are, not watching this show because they're 13.
I don't know. We might get a 13-year-old. Have you heard our humor?
Yeah, it's 13-year-olds would be turned off by it because it's too lowbrow for them.
It's too lowbrow for 13-year-olds.
Uh-huh.
Damn,
Yeah.
Jason.
Uh-huh.
Well, why don't
You know what,
kick us
Jason?
off there,
I don't
Jason?
think you're going to kick us off today. Welcome to Vagabond Nerds. I'm going to do it because Jason's other shows are more important than this one, as you know.
I'm here.
I have
aren't
heard your other shows, and buddy, let me tell you, God bless, bless your heart. Go ahead, Jason, kick it off.
Anyway, it's another Vagabond Nerds where we do remind you to check out the hook while a DJ revolves it. While you're being revolved, do go visit Jeremy over at Titan Comics. Again,
Maybe
all the stuff's in the doobly-doo below.
See,
Let me just-
I had the
just
appropriate name change.
Let me just say, maybe get revolved before or after you go see Jeremy. Don't do it while you're seeing. They frown on that in public places.
It's still Dallas, man. It's
That's not an excuse. It's still not okay. It's still not okay.
Jeremy's a progressive guy. I don't think he's going to mind too much.
Sean, did you just fall out there, buddy?
No. I think I'm still here.
Well, the good news is,
Okay, there we go.
there you
Sorry.
You getting revolved? What's
go. You're getting revolved.
No, I did that in my private time.
Yeah, twist that. Never mind. Okay, so with that out of the way, last 2 weeks pretty good for all of us. I hope.
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah?
It's been all right. I mean, another trip around the sun, hooray!
That's right. Which
Yeah.
included very fun things to
No,
do.
yeah. That's
Sean, cattle drive. I'm just telling you.
You're wearing the shirt for it, right?
I am wearing the shirt. I'm prepared. I'm prepared. I'm ready to do this cattle drive. I'm ready to
You
go
are
full
so not
city
prepared.
slicker on this, man.
No, dude. No.
I'm on vacation.
One thing.
Oh
But
my gosh.
the impacts are
did you
buried,
have-
and we just sort of covered them up.
We just covered them up. Talk about what we buried on this trip so far. One cattle boss. There are young people going, "What the heck are they talking about?" And there are older people going, "Yeah, that's an old movie."
Yeah.
You ever get a chance? Watch City Slickers if you
Oldie
haven't.
but a goodie. Oldie but
Very
a goodie.
much so.
Still funny today.
Oh, it is.
Speaking of semi quasi funny, Quantumanium funny. I don't know. What y'all guys think of Ant-Man? Let's just jump right in.
Let's
Alright.
Jump in.
I feel
Sean,
like I
let's
usually-
jump in and freeze. Okay, now we got you.
I know. I can see it. I can tell because you guys freeze on my screen. And so I'm like, well, that means I'm frozen. Because I can still hear you talking and I know you can't hear me. So I'm like, well, here we go. This is fantastic.
There you go.
I guess maybe let me go ahead and start so I can get this out before my internet drops the entire feed. I was entertained.
Okay.
I'll say it that way. I was entertained. It was goofy in a way, but it also had an element to it that was different from the previous two Ant-Mans, which I liked. I did enjoy the family aspect of it. I liked that it was grandma, grandpa, husband, wife, daughter, like the family. And that's I thought that it was very uniquely different from the other two Ant-Mans. That's really what I took away from it, was how different it was, and that I was entertained while I was watching it. So that's my first takeaway.
Let me go with Sean's on this. I was entertained. I think it's getting too much hate, but I also think other sides are giving it too much praise. I think it's somewhere in the middle. Like I was looking at the Rotten Tomato reviews, it's like
That's one way or the other.
Yeah, and when you see that kind of discrepancy between the reviewers and then the normal populace, when you see that, the audience, when you see that big a discrepancy, means one of two things: somebody's check bounced on the reviewers, or they've got bots on the picking up the audience scores, because I feel like really it's the audience score should be lower, but the reviewers should be higher. Like I feel like this was a very
exactly how I
average
feel about
Marvel
Jerry
film.
Jones and the Cowboys.
Hold on. So
pretty
so
much.
what I hear,
But
Jason,
it
what
was
I'm hearing
entertaining.
you
Like,
say,
I don't hate it. I like it.
I'm hearing you say that you have no faith in the reviewing system. It's either corrupt or it's corrupt.
Yeah, pretty much.
Would that be an accurate summation of your feelings
Yes,
for
that
Rotten
would be
Tomato scores?
Yes.
Either somebody paid them or somebody used technology to artificially inflate something, one way or the other.
Yep. One of the two.
Gotcha. Okay. Ray?
I liked it, but one thing took me completely out of the movie every time it popped up, and I hated it. I thought it was. I thought it, to me, it was the reason why that character does not work or belong in the MCU. That's just me.
Whatever could you be talking about, Ray?
That little
Michelle
bitty
Pfeiffer?
head. No, it's not Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Not Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
MODOK just
MODOK.
killed it for me.
Okay, we want to start with MODOK, or we're going to start.
I want
there?
to start with MODOK because for me
Okay.
that was the worst part of the entire movie. Wasn't necessary. I mean, they had a good link for it on why he would become MODOK.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I thought, okay, good. That's actually a good premise. And when I saw the trailers, I was like, okay, not bad. But 100% played for laughs in a scenario where I don't think his character should have been played for laughs at all. Just absolute waste of a character to me. And again, every time we saw him, even MODOK butt, and I'm not kidding about that. So spoilers, MODOK butt appeared on the screen.
Oh yeah, that's spoilers by the way for Ant-Man if you haven't already guessed.
But I just Yeah, we're gonna spoil this one. His character was just useless to me, and about the only time that I felt that it was necessary was like, I can be a dick. Yes, you can. No, stop it. Um, and that I got, I heard the theater when I was in it, got some chuckles, but his character to me was the worst part of this movie, hands down.
So, yeah, again, completely agree. And I think the worst part is, to your point, it was it's a completely wasted character. If you want, again, I know they've already screwed up Ames, so the idea of getting a real MODOK isn't going to work. Fine, not a problem. I still think you could have pulled it off. You want to put him here, you want to make him MODOK. I don't think it's not a great loss, but he could have worked. All they needed to do was go full Darth Vader with him. That's because when he was dying, he looked fine. The problem was every time they showed his face, it's like he had a spotlight and he's smiling and it's clear and it's pristine. He needed to be truly grotesque. MODOK is a grotesque looking character. I mean, he really is, because it's a grotesque concept.
He reminds me of when the comedy shows would do like the magnifying glass on a body part to make it look weird, and that's how it looked the entire time. And I'm just
was exactly the problem. That was the problem. Yeah, everything else was animated to a certain standard, and let's face it. Aside from the intro and outro shots in this film where he's walking down the street in the back lot of Hollywood on the studio set somewhere, everything was filmed. That I did like that, though, by the way. Everything was filmed on a green screen. This entire movie was a green screen. The whole thing. Sure, they walked up a few sets that were built minorly, but everything is green screen. And there was, I was talking about it with Nathan as well. We were like, man, there was moments we're watching this and we're looking at it, we're going, I might as well be watching an anime.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing real in this shot. I'm just watching this. Now, that's not a dig on anything. That's just
right.
Right. If done, that's what I'm saying. If done right, it's not a dig on the movie. I'm not trying to say that. I am just saying that everything was animated and was animated to a certain quality standard. And then MODOK was just his face was so misplaced.
Yeah. Yes, it's like he looked like the annoying orange. Remember that thing?
Yeah,
that's another
very good comparison, which is really shitty in the midst of this. Not hyper detailed, because I got to say, it was a lot of far off, you know what I mean? Yeah. Abstract stuff in the background. And we're looking at weird rock formations and floating shit and all this stuff, and amoebas attacking people, which was fun because I was like, this does make sense. Quantum realm is giant amoebas attacking folks. But yeah, it was so jarring. I didn't mind the humor that much. The theater I was in, everybody actually laughed out loud when he said, "I'm not a dick,"
Yeah.
And they thought that was. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Was it? If it's trying to be a serious movie, then yeah, that is completely misplaced. But I felt like Scott Lang didn't have a lot of room to be Scott Lang in this, so he couldn't be fully quippy.
Right.
And to have it still be an Ant-Man film, they were like, we need that comic relief. And they didn't have Michael Pena in there because they said how are we going to put Pena in here? It's not going to work.
Well, they found a way for
him to be in the movie.
Smolchin. Yeah, but they found a way for one of the other guys.
Yeah. I know that. I just meant him.
His character.
Ex-convict going into the quantum realm with him. It's like he would have been out of place the entire way through. Because there's so but yeah, you're right. I mean, they got he was able to do the voice acting for that one, which again, that character was hilarious, and that could have been enough comic.
I have goals
on its own, and
that by itself, 100%.
The drink, the ooh or whatever it was,
the ooze, and
again, it's like that was fine. I wish they would have went full homicide with MODOK.
You never go full MODOK.
Full moon
you never go full MODOK.
You never go full MODOK.
Don't do the triple M, man.
Yeah, there was a way for this thing to have worked for him to have actually worked really well, and have him be and literally have him be the real reason. Like the ants were fine. I did not mind them at all. it's like you use the ants to help really get the armies and all that kind of done, but you use MODOK to really take out Kang for Scott. That's all you had to do. And if you had gone full MODOK, where it's like he's just grotesque.
No, I would. I gotta argue with you right there, man. Like that, I would not use him to take out Kang. The Kang fight, the Kang battle, I didn't mind that.
Well, no, I said he doesn't take out Kang, but he's the one. Again, you still have him damage Kang to the point where he can take on, where Ant-Man can take him on. And
still don't even want that, man. So I'd rather get rid of that character in its entirety. Sorry.
Well, I would like. Yeah, I don't think he belonged in I don't think he belonged in there at all. But to our point, if you're going to have him, right, the themes are fine. Just fix him so he's more grotesque. Like, go full MODOK. Let him be the grotesque thing he's supposed to be, and lean into that a little bit.
I think you have 10 seconds of MODOK. He pops up. Scott looks at him, goes to Giant Man, and just flicks him across the quantum realm, and just be done with it. And that's the end of MODOK.
Okay,
that's an bigger waste of a character. That's an even bigger waste of a character.
Don't care. Like, that's how much I hated seeing him in this movie. And again, that's not a slam on the actor. Yeah. The actor did his part.
No, I think he did his part fine. You're just talking about the placement of the character itself, and I understand.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, he doesn't even have. Here's the thing: you could have still had him there and not have him be MODOK. Like, he could have just been some servant of Kang. Like, that's the thing is, Darren could have still been there, and he would have worked better if he wasn't MODOK. Like, save MODOK for some other thing. Are we done ragging on MODOK? Because I think we all.
I think so.
Okay,
guys, I think we can all agree.
So screw you, Marvel. Okay, moving on.
I think we can all agree on the favorite part, or at least my favorite part, is Kang. Jonathan Majors is Kang. Doggone, man.
Oh, yeah.
Scene stealer. Him and Michelle Pfeiffer, actually.
Yeah, I really did like to see Michelle Pfeiffer have a bigger role in this film, or at least not a bigger role, but like she had a more prominent, I don't know, she just had a more prominent sway over everything. Getting to see some of the backstory and all this other stuff, and seeing her meet Kang and then go through this whole thing. But what bugged me about this is the thing that did bug me about that portion of it is I refer to it as the Othello problem. Somebody is just not speaking up about the truth. They're just not telling the truth. They haven't mentioned anything yet. They're lying about stuff. That's all it is. They're just lying either by omission or by direct diversion to say, I'm not going to talk about this. The moment she said shut it down or whatever in the beginning, all she had to say right then and there was, look, you guys, there's a really bad person over there. His name's Kang. We want to watch out for him. And then they would have been like, what are you talking about? And instead, the entire beginning of this thing is, I don't want to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it later. Bitch, this ain't a grocery list. Speak up.
We are trapped in the quantum realm. You need to come clean right the F now.
Tell me about the imminent danger, the life-threatening danger. Don't just, we're not picking out Drakes. It's not a discussion.
We've already lost Scott and Cassie. Can you tell us what we need to do?
Tell me what's going on. Just follow my lead and trust me. Why do I have to trust you? And by the way, throughout the entire thing, even when she was like, you never told us, at the end of everything, and she's like explaining it all. And I think the whole, if I remember correctly, I don't even really know if they said there was a reason why she didn't tell anybody about this other than she just wanted to forget about it. And so, like, are you telling me that the whole reason she didn't speak up about this in the beginning is just because she's like, well, it was a really horrible time and I didn't want to talk about it?
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody's lives are in danger.
Is it relevant right now? Well, it could be. Well, then how about you share it?
Well, then how about
even the fact that they were the whole quantum realm? Why not just say, look, I'm going to talk about all the stuff all the shit I went through for the last 30 years later, but there's one thing you need to know: stay the hell out of the quantum realm because of Kang. That's right. Like, why wasn't that a thing?
All I know is the people over at How It Should Have Ended are going to have a blast with this flick.
Oh, they're going to love this
yes,
one.
They are.
This is going to be, if they haven't already.
So much.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I guess you could call them
There's a lot here. There's a lot
here. There are some plot holes.
And it's plot holes because you look at it and go, would the characters really make that decision?
Yes.
Much like, why would Namor all of a sudden go, it's time to melt the world?
Yeah.
When he was, however many hundreds of years
given the world
later,
we're at right now, I would.
What I'm saying is, when he was a kid and he climbed the ocean and he found that they'd set up a plantation on what used to be his land, he torched the place. And then he was like, that's good enough. And he leaves.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'll hide for the next 400 years.
Oh, this is what they're doing. Yeah. He's like, oh, this is, well, then let's just go fire and brimstone and nuke this whole place. Right. He didn't do that.
Let's go to war with
Wakanda. However many hundreds of years or whatever years later. He's
how
like,
in the hell does he even know Wakanda exists if you people have been in isolation for 400 years?
I would have accepted that a lot better than MODOK.
Yeah, no. Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm saying plot holes are these are the little plot holes. This is the way it's looked at. Is like, is it plausible that they would have done this?
I want to go back to Sean's Othello problem for 2 seconds because this is the Marvel. The MCU's biggest problem is this.
Scripting.
Nobody talks to anybody. MODOK, but it is, to Sean's point, half of these movies don't have a third act. If anyone acts at all, if anyone's just like, hey, can I tell you this one thing that I know that really is relevant to and pertinent to the conversation we're currently having and the events that are happening right now?
I feel like we've talked about this before.
We have
Marvel and third act problems.
Yeah, well, it's not just it's, to Sean's point, it's the entire movie problem. Like, this movie doesn't happen if she's like, by the way, there's a guide there we don't want to deal with. That's it.
I will say though, Jason, in rebuttal to your statement there, I don't think all, as you said, all the other Marvel movies are this egregious. There's a few that are, but I don't think they're all this egregious.
Which one? Are you talking about Black Panther first or second?
The first one.
No, shut up. You're
actually both of them, but definitely the first one. No.
How?
The entire. We've talked about this. Yeah.
We have talked about this, but I just think it's a little heavy-handed to say that this is Marvel's like full-on problem. There's some things people don't want to discuss. I think the severity, it's plausible in some cases when people don't want to talk about state secrets, government secrets. Like when that's the thing, I'm like, okay, I get that. There's a thing, I get that.
Yeah.
But this is just a family who hasn't discussed what's happened, a grandmother, mother who hasn't discussed what happened to her about it. And it's fine to not discuss all that, but this one important thing of, hey, psychopathic universe destroyer, and we're trapped here now. You might want to. You just might want to bring that
Sean,
up.
You're completely right. Like, this is the worst one, but this is not the first movie that has had this problem.
It's a problem to me when it's plausible, is what I'm saying. When it's a plausible thing, I don't look at it as a problem. I look at it as a vehicle to the plot point. It makes sense to me in that case. This one, I feel like that was, to me, one of the glaring issues. Was it's like, why didn't you just speak up? You could have told everybody what was going on. Everybody would have been informed before things happened, even if it was right before you got sucked into the quantum realm, because
it was too late. The signal had already.
Cassie built the thing. Mm-hmm. You still could have said just before that, and everybody's like, "Well, okay, shit. Now we know what we're getting into." And you touch down on the planet, and they're like, "Why don't you just tell me what's going on?" She's like, "Because I don't want to talk about it. By gosh, jolly gee shucks, gosh darn it, let's just trust me."
This is really starting to sound like Shang-Chi. That third act too. Dad, can we have a moment?
Even I liked Shang-Chi. I don't know.
We liked this movie again.
I was entertained. I still enjoyed. I was entertained. I had a good time watching it, and I enjoyed the father-daughter. You're huge. I know, isn't it awesome? Oh my god, it feels so amazing. Like, that was just cute. There was some father-daughter stuff in there.
It was was enjoyable, but MODOK took me out of it. And let's talk about the ending. So there are 3 ways I could have seen this ending gone. That I wish it would have. Number 1,
so interesting.
I know. King kills Scott. No one would have batted an eye, because he would have. He would have died saving his family, and that would have been the most important thing for Scott. That would have been like the Scott. It would have made me forget about MODOK if they had killed Tony Scott. Stark.
That's the end game moment. It's the end game moment. You just saved everything.
It's a smaller scale. I just saved what was important to me. That was my family.
Well, it's everything though. That's my point. It's everything.
2. The second thing that I would have changed. Okay, so he survives. Okay, so Wasp was there. She survives, goes back with him, which I thought was beautiful. In the movie, I thought that was a cool scene. Her going back and making sure that where's Scott? Because I thought for sure it was gonna be like a moment where where's Scott? Everyone stand still.
That was yeah. No, she full on Lyndall Hamilton showed up and
Absolutely. So okay, I buy that. I'm cool. Then do me a favor, trap them there. They were trapped there. How did Cassie get that machine working inside of 10 seconds flat?
Well,
to
but
get them back out of the quantum.
Time works differently in either spot. She may have been working on it for a week. We don't know.
Right.
True. We don't.
They didn't touch on that though. They did not specify. It looked very much like it was just 5 minutes.
So. Not even 5 minutes. Like it felt shorter because from the moment. Either way, from the moment that King dies to that moment where they all go back, that's perfectly fine. And I was going to have a third one. And the third one is how it ended was okay with them finally getting back and everything else. Now, here's a question. And I don't believe they did. Did Scott and them return back to the original universe? Or is it another multiverse that they're in?
I think they returned back to the original. I don't think it was a different one. Why? I hadn't even considered that before, but
all of the colors, and when he's walking back the second time, repeating the intro of the movie. If you look in the background, there are all the side actors, all the whatever actors you want to call them that are just there. They're looking at him. They're confused. Listen to the language. He went from not being known as Spider-Man, right? To all of a sudden, and then getting his stuff free. Hey, that's $5. The color schemes in that particular universe were all representative of the colors of King. Like a lot of the colors of the balloons, the cake, people in the background, they were all strong colors of King and representative of his outfit. So my only question is like he's sitting there thinking, and he's talking the entire time. Did I set something worse? Did I do something worse? What's going to happen? I just don't think he ended up in our universe when all said.
Well, I mean,
or the 616. Let me say that.
If that's the case, then that means Michelle Pfeiffer sent them back to the wrong place because she's the one who opened the portal to send them back.
That's right.
Right.
I think she knew where she was sending them, so I don't think she messed that up. I think it was intentional. I think they went back to the same place. I think now this is what I think it's a bit of a stretch the way you're looking at it. If not, great find, good Easter eggs. I don't think that they went back to a different universe.
It could very well be that King's already changed something in that universe. Again, King above everything else is a time traveler. Every King involved is a time traveler, right? So no matter what, and we know that there are millions of them, literally, due to the stadium scene that was in there,
which is a great comic. Great
good callback to the comic panel.
Very nice.
So I'm curious about that. I can't sit there and say, oh, I'm the original one or I'm the only one thinking about that. No, there are tons of people that are on YouTube that are going like, hey, did this, but I noticed it during the movie and I was just like, like, did he go back to the 616 or is he somewhere else? Or did Kang change something in the 616 already?
I'm kind of with Sean. I think he is in the 616, but I think to your point, there's two things. Like, why does he actually pay for the coffee? It's because he's moving on from where he was. But the color thing, right? The fact that he keeps questioning, did I just screw everything up by stopping this guy? Did I cause something? Like, he's asking these questions. I think the color schemes and all these other things are just that foreshadowing of, congratulations, you saved your family, but you may have just completely just effed everybody over, which goes back to the stadium scene
where
we've got Ramata and Immortus. By the way, I'm just glad we saw an actual Immortus. I never thought we'd get Immortus in the MCU.
I absolutely did love the fact that this is another one where technically the bad guy wins. Even though Scott saved his family and the Wasp, they both saved their family and got them all back together. But watching that end credit scene with the three of them saying, "So he's finally dead." Like they're going, "Oh, so he is dead." They're like, "Well, crap. We wish we could have killed him ourselves," which was kind of a silly statement in my opinion. Because I'm like, then why the hell did you banish him?
Yeah.
You banished him because you didn't want to kill him. If you wanted to kill him yourself, you would have killed him yourself. So that's a stupid line. That was throwaway. But
I agree with that. And it's like you exiled him. Why does his death mean anything to you at all?
Why is his death meaningful at all? Exactly. But it was really. It makes you wonder, like, when Kang is telling Scott, if you'll just come with me, let me out of here, I'll save you. I'll save your universe. I'll save your multiverse. I won't touch it. You guys are fine. Mm-hmm. And interesting deal that he made, that he offers, because I'm like, it makes you wonder, would he have kept his word? For one, and two,
I was wondering the same thing. Yeah,
I don't think
if he was also that powerful, or he believed himself to be that powerful, where he could stop all these other versions of himself, then how the hell did Ant-Man and the Wasp beat him?
Yeah,
that bugs the shit out of me. When people are running out of the stadium, for a better term, worse of a term that he had, the stadium that he had built, and he's zapping people into complete dust and nothingness, honestly, just like complete nothingness, just getting rid of them. So just they don't exist. He hit the superheroes with that same thing. So why did their suits keep them from dematerializing? Why did one blast from his fists to Scott's chest not just vaporize him entirely? Is there something in the suit that we didn't know that withstands Kang's shit? And if that's the case, just build a bubble and throw him in there. Then you can't ever get out. Like, what's the point? I felt that
don't use logic.
Well, okay. Sean has a great hold on. Sean has a great point here, and again, it's a problem I had too. It's a problem I have with a lot of these movies. Hold on,
Sean, you've got a great point here,
Sean. No, you do.
No.
Which is why is it the same thing that turns people to ash, doesn't kill immediately the hero? And there's usually some kind of remember the original Fantastic Four film when they
it was talked about though, why their outfits could sustain that. Did y'all miss that? At one point, they're talking over, and Cassie says, "We have plot armor. We're good," and that's what covers their uniforms.
Did you just say plot armor?
Plot armor.
Yeah. Our suits are plutonium.
There you go. That's what saved them from Kang. I solved this. Next question. Go ahead, Jason.
All right. So Mandalorian.
Hold on, real quick. I will say another thing that I did like about it was the very end where it just said Kang will return. Nothing like seeing the opposite person of the main character saying they will return. Not that person, but Kang will return.
But before we do move on from this, I know we briefly mentioned Jonathan Majors, but seriously though, for some greater detail, the thing that I did love about this movie was his portrayal. It was his acting. Yes. It was Kang. There is just this, I don't know what it was. You see a good serial killer in a movie, someone portraying a serial killer in a movie, and it's a good portrayal of them. When you see what you can look at and go, man, that is frighteningly understandable, but evil at the same time. And I think understandably evil portion is one of the most frightening things ever. And to see somebody do it so well, especially on such a strange thing, I mean, his name's Kang. And he's a time traveler. It's just random. Like, who would have thought that somebody could come in and make this role real? I mean, the same way Thanos, the same way. Oh crap, I forgot his name. But the same way, what's his face from Goonies?
Josh Brolin.
Thanos. Thank you, Josh Brolin. I like that I went to the Goonies and not Old Country for Old Men, but whatever. Or No Country for Old Men. So, but yeah, it's just. He was
how old we all are.
He was so good, man. He just did it was like there was these quiet moments when he spoke.
Yeah.
And it was very pointed, and it was like he enunciated things and made things very particular, and that's a real good bad guy kind of thing to do. he just made this character come to life, and he did such a good job in this movie. That was the best part of the entire film, was Jonathan Majors and his portrayal of Kang.
Whenever 100%. He was interacting with any of the characters, even by
himself, even just sitting in the damn chair. Well, I was like, dude, look at the gravity you have just being Kang in this chair. Yeah. Like, I don't know, man.
Sean, I think we had this conversation where I said even still, I felt like he was finally a villain, and we don't get many of that in Marvel because they always want you to feel sympathetic to the villains. But he was one that you didn't. You like, dude, you've been destroying universe upon universe, and like, you're evil for the sake of being evil. You weren't like, hey, I got to destroy 50% of this for whatever.
He is. You're right. I think there is some sort of twisted logic to the reason why he's doing it, and I think it's I do think it is in of Thanos in a way. I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison. It's oranges, but it's a similar, like, it's the same sport. They're just not playing in the same arena. You know what I mean?
I get you.
It's the same thing. It's just they're playing in a different area. One might be little league, one might be major league, or one's the farm team and one's the main team. Who knows? But yeah, it wasn't Hela, because Hela was bad for bad sake. To be honest, that was supposed to be just pure evil. But Hela, when we first saw that film, and I still do like her, her portrayal in that role as well. I forget her name. I'm bad today, but I think Jonathan Majors made Kang better. Kang was much better than Hela, and they're still the same. Yeah. They're just bad for bad sake. But I feel like Kang was a lot more ominous than Hela was.
Yeah. He brought a gravitas to it. I agree completely. Did we have any problem with Cassie? I've seen a lot of people complain about Cassie, and I'm like, Cassie was fine.
No problem.
Yeah. Cassie was fine. I liked her a lot. I think she did it. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. All the actors in this movie did well for their roles. I do think everybody acted well, even though there's like the little plot holes that we mentioned and things that maybe irk us a little bit. The acting was fine, despite the crazy smiling orange face that did detract from the rest of the visuals in the movie. Even the guy playing Darren did fine. He was fine as MODOK. I was like, okay, it's MODOK. I don't know MODOK. I thought it was a stupid character. And every time I saw it back in the comic books, I wouldn't even pick up a comic book if he was on the cover or mentioned in the story, because I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Why the hell would I want to read this? So I did appreciate, in a way, that's why I said earlier, Ray, is that I appreciated the humor in this, because it's like, good, you're making fun of a ridiculous character. I'm kind of glad they made fun of this character, because
maybe I'll go back and look at it that way, of him as more of a punchline. Wasn't my favorite part.
I don't think we need this kind of negativity on MODOK. MODOK is a great character. What are you talking about?
I think the Hulu version of MODOK is fantastic.
I was gonna say, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard that it was really good, and it's Patton Oswalt voicing MODOK, which I love. Patton Oswalt, I'm a big fan, so I think that's probably a solid series based on the fact that they know how ridiculous it is. Which is not to say they knew how ridiculous MODOK was when they put him in this film, because he was nothing more than a goofy comic relieving punchline.
Mm-hmm. So Mando popped back up this week, season 3, episode 1. Mm-hmm. Jason, let's start with you, because the way that you called me yesterday, you sounded frustrated with it. So go ahead.
Did I like it? Yes. Do I like the Mandalorian stuff that they've done? I haven't even seen Andor yet, so I'm not even trying to compare it to any of those. I'm just saying I like Mandalorian overall. But there is one little, and I again love Grogu. He's spinning the chair, love all of it. Okay, my problem is, though, it feels like we're stuck on all the side quests in a video game. Like, his story cannot evolve beyond go do side quests while other shit's going on. Like, at the end of season 2, we had him set up where there was some legitimate moving forward, and we came back and talked about it with Boba Fett, and we just don't talk about Boba Fett here. And
Ray, stop it.
Land the plane, Jason.
No.
Golly. They could. So
anyway,
you think
they could have done? There's some moving forward. They keep them. Yeah, exactly. There is a main storyline to be done here, and they're like, let's get the hell away from that main storyline quick. Give him another side job to do. That makes no effing sense. I did like that his when they switched from the Razor Crest now to this old Naboo ship, the Nubian Starfighter. Essentially, it's just a sci-fi version of a Harley, and I love that. Like I said, I love everything about it, except I want the fucking plot to actually advance.
Wow.
I feel like we should have had like some fireworks and like graphics go off.
We
on that
skipped
one,
some levels.
I've never. Yeah. Wow. All right.
And while I'm ranting, Picard, turn on a damn light. I love the series, but turn on a light switch somewhere. It's the 25th century by now. Y'all have lights. All right, back to Mando.
I feel like you need a hug, sir. Are you okay?
Don't do that. He actually is a hugger, and it bothers
That was a few. That was a.
He's fine.
That was a few things that all came out there with talking about. All right. What main storyline?
This isn't going. Yeah. So Jason, my thing is this.
I mean, I get it. To me, they're like he wants to get back to the main storyline. Is he wants to get back to the main planet of the Mandalorians. I can't remember the name, Mandalore or something. Anyways, they want to get back to the planet so he can bathe in the waters and be accepted back into the clan. Well, that's the storyline. Okay, so now he's got to take this first step into, well, I can't get there in this ship, and I need somebody to help me, and I'm going to go see if I can get this done because I need assistance. I'm not just going to go on my own. I think that's the main storyline. It's not a side quest to me per se. I disagree, man.
Right. I get it.
First off, your comparison of side quests is exactly why you don't play video games.
No, it's not exactly why. It shows that he doesn't play video games.
Yeah, it definitely is there. That's no, just no. Just like when you start talking sports, do not speak on what you're not knowing or what you don't follow.
Part of the amazingness that is
video games.
No, not just video games. Some specific video games. I'll say like Grand Theft Auto, something like 5 or whatever, and then
Hogwarts Legacy,
or Cyberpunk. What's the samurai one? The
Ghost of
Tsushima. Is these amazing side quests and these side stories
that are building up the character.
You go on, you build up the character, and not only do you build up the character, you build up all the other characters that are going with you into the end game. So you make this whole cinematic thing way more memorable.
Kind of like this first episode of Mandalorian.
It makes it memorable, and I didn't see any problem with this being like a side quest. I don't know why people are. I read a headline that said people are upset about the ship. I don't know why, other than just people need to be upset about things nowadays, and they need other people to know about it, so they post pointless things.
Like side quests being an issue.
And then they have shows like ours where they bitch about it and talk about it. So, damn you,
y'all do realize what we do here. The entire premise of this channel. Y'all get that, right? You understand what we're doing here.
But do me a good middle road, though. We try to be a nice middle way through things that says, hey, don't hate it too much or too little, too less, don't love it, whatever. You do you. We're going to tell you about us, and then we're not going to hate on you if you liked it or disliked it. So
we also try to keep it relevant to the story. Look, you can sit there and say that it's a side quest. I couldn't disagree with you any more than that rant you just went on. I don't. This made me realize why Book of Boba Fett was so stupid. Because episode 1 in, and I'm already invested.
Took you this long?
No,
I was
the
about
first
to say,
episode of
really?
Boba Fett. Actually, I can't say the
Like,
first episode of Boba Fett. I will say the second episode of Boba Fett.
I was gonna say, I think after a few episodes into it,
Yeah.
we were like, "What
It
is
was
this
like, oh god, this
horse
is
shit we're
horrible.
What are we
watching?"
doing
Like,
here?
come on,
Well, if
man.
only somebody could save it. Enter the Mandalorian.
Yeah, oh,
Right.
hey,
2 episodes away from Boba Fett.
The best part of the Boba Fett series
Yeah.
was Mandalorian.
Was Mando.
And, yeah.
No,
we've
Jason.
had that
I think this
conversation.
was a good first episode. I enjoy. You
I
know
said
what?
I liked the episode.
I smiled
it.
after this episode ended, and I love that they finally hit the original Star Wars Han Solo deadpan jokes with Mando, because there was a couple of just one-liners where he was, that he dropped throughout this, where I was just like, that is so corny and stupid. Only in the original trilogy could this work, and in Mandalorian could this work. And
Yes,
I
agree.
No, I loved everything about this first episode. I can't wait. I love the fact that they're still doing chapters from chapter 1, the very first one, to we're now on chapter 17. And I love what Favreau just said about it. They're like, so what's he doing? He's like, we don't have an end game for the show. The show is literally episodic. It can go as long or as short as we need it, because there's we're not tied into anything. Sure, we may show stuff that has happened in other stuff, or there may be a payoff to one, or just a little nod, but we're not tied into any of the actual Star Wars lore that dictates us to have an end part of the story.
Yeah.
We can end 20 years from now, we could end a year from now. It didn't matter. And I love that heads up, because I don't have any rooting interest, because I know this is where it's going to end and this is the arc they're trying to tell. No, it's just a story. And I think this episode proves that too. It's just a story.
Yeah, because each season has been different. I mean, so the first season was him coming to terms with protecting the child.
Right.
And the second season was him trying to find somebody else to child, because he's like, I did my job. Now I need to foist this young one off onto someone else. And in the end, realizing that it is his charge now, and taking it and getting Grogu back. And now we're in the third season, and he's like, well, now I've got to redeem myself because I failed and took my helmet off. So, I mean, it's very... episodic is a great word for it, because each thing is contained. I like how each episode is mostly a contained episode, and then you move on. And you come to the next one, you're going to see what's going to happen. It's just what happens this week. What happens this week? This week on Mandalorian. That whole situation,
which is perfectly fun.
Right.
Look at the Bill Burr episodes. The Bill Burr episodes were fantastic, and
those were amazing. Yeah,
I love that focused on him. If we really go back and watch those episodes, that was a focus on his character, not Mando.
Not on Mando.
Not Boba Fett by that time either, right? Because he had already found Boba. And so
he's almost a vehicle to allow some other storytelling going on around him that's not specifically for him. It's great because we get to be Mando in this situation. What I mean? He's the audience.
Yeah.
The audience responding to things the way he sees them, and it's a great character. It's a great way for people to connect to it. It's the Rifleman. It is. I mean, it is a space western. Again, it still is basically. I mean, because it's guns, not swords. Although he does have it's Lone Wolf and Cub, which is again a samurai, which is also a western. Because
I was going to go with
which is also a western.
Yeah, same situation.
But I mean, specifically the Rifleman reference is that, again, if you watch the Rifleman, no, Gunsmoke. I'm sorry, Gunsmoke.
Okay.
Gunsmoke. Matt Dillon is the least interesting character in that series.
Yeah,
he serves as the drama is everyone else.
Yeah, so he's the audience's vehicle to watch the show.
Usually to watch Miss Kitty's whorehouse.
Yes.
She was running a brothel, dude. Don't give me that look. We all knew it.
I didn't say. I'm just like.
She took care, and she kept taking care of Dylan all the time. How you doing, Miss Kitty?
There's no need
to reduce. 2 seconds.
There's no need to reduce the show to that being the reason people watched it.
That's the only reason people watched it was Miss Kitty.
All right, well,
even her name, Miss Kitty. Come on.
Let's get up out of the gutter.
Jason will never watch that show the same way again and hear Miss Kitty the same way. Miss Kitty, yes. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I agree. I liked the show. I really did. I like what they're doing. It's just they were able to set up some things that they could have just
It's episode 1 of the season.
It's
like what? Like you're actually arguing your own point.
No, but we're back to square one with him.
No, go back to arguing your own point. You started off by saying you're saying that it's a build up and everything else, but you're arguing the point that you started with. I can't stand the side quest.
No, what I'm saying is they had at the end of season 2 and the things they had touched on in the best parts of Boba Fett, which is just the Mandalorian. They had set up the chessboard a particular way, and then we get to this.
For what? What was the way? Because that's what I'm missing.
Darksaber.
Well, this is the way.
This is the way.
Shut up, Ray. The Darksaber.
We have the Darksaber, and we have the setup for the idea that there is this rebuilding of the Mandalorian Empire and the conflict that he's got with
this was leading to him going back to Mandalore.
Right, leading up to him going back to Mandalore to redeem himself. Groovy.
Right.
And then in this episode, it's apparently been a couple of years, and according to everyone,
Time out.
Dave Filoni says,
has it been a couple of years?
It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years since the previous. Yeah.
So let me stop right there. Let me stop you, Jason, because I rather buy that than say the end of episode 7, and 5 seconds later they're now visiting with Luke. I love the fact that there's a 2-year span if that is the case.
Well, because what they mentioned was they said Grogu apparently is supposed to have been training with Luke for 2 years before he comes back to Mando.
Right.
Fully comes back to Mando. And the deal with this is what I got to say though, Jason. The deal with this, this episode does pick up right where the other end of that whole chessboard you're talking about is left off. He mentions he still has the Darksaber. He goes to like you said, Starbuck. He goes to her and says, "I'm here. I'm wondering if you could help me." And she's like, "You defeated me. You took the Darksaber. Nobody wanted to follow me anymore. And so now my big quest is gone. And since you weren't there to pick it up, no one followed you either. So you just let all this shit fall apart. And now you're here to start building it back up again." And so she's like, "I'm not going to help you. And good luck with whatever you had to do. But you ruined my world." Which he did, and he left.
Which he did, yeah.
But he is still on the same path. He has the Darksaber.
Yeah.
He is on his way to Mandalore to be redeemed.
He's taking his sweet time.
It's on his timetable. It's his way. Yeah, it's his. It's his. This is the way. It's his way. But we're still on that path.
I'll enjoy the ride. I feel like they could have done a little bit more, and it would have been fine. He could still be on his quest to Mandalore.
You are incorrect, sir.
No, I'm not incorrect.
That's my red stapler.
I'm not incorrect. I like that. That's good. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to connect with what you're saying, Jason, because I feel like it's for me what you're saying that you wish was there. For me, it's there. For me, I see it, and that's why I'm like, I don't know why you see it a different way. And that's just that's where
I can tell you what I can tell you this. While I see the burnout for the MCU, I am not there with Mandalorian.
I'm not that. I've never seen anything about burnout with Mandalorian at all.
But I think a Star Wars burnout may be possible.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think especially for you, because you have a lot of stuff you do. And I will grant you that, but I think you are hinging on that Star Wars burnout yourself. That you've already succumbed to the Marvel burnout, but I think you're starting to hit that with Star Wars too. And like you said, we haven't even seen Andor. I haven't seen Andor. Sean, I know you've seen it. You love it, and everyone I've heard that's seen it loves it. I want to start it, but daughter's in college, and I promised I would wait for her, so I won't be able to do that until summer.
Just lie. It's
not like she watches the show anyway.
Not this show, no, it sucks. But who does?
By the way, I haven't succumbed to MCU burnout. The MCU has succumbed to MCU burnout.
I have.
I love Quantumania.
There's that article was really funny. Which I don't know. All right, I don't see a burnout with Mandalorian yet because it is we had a significant break from the last season, you know what I mean? And it is only 8 to 10 episodes long. if that.
This was the shortest. This also represented the shortest season opener of any Marvel or not Marvel DC show.
Disney, Disney Plus
Disney
kind of
Plus.
thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't overplay itself, which is nice. I think that's why it's not really. I don't think you're going to see burnout on it for a little while. It will. Something that will go sideways is I do feel if Jon Favreau and Filoni decide to take it for too long. Yeah. I mean, I get it that it is episodic, and it's nice that they don't really have an end goal, so to speak, so they can play it for as long as they want to. But much like anything, again, good things come to an end, and you do need to have an ending somewhere to make this worthwhile. And I don't want it to just fizzle out and be some shit ending.
Well, we've all talked about it before, where it's 5 seasons. Do show 5 seasons, because anything that runs past that, and even then, sometimes 3 seasons can tell a story.
Sometimes 8 seasons are great on certain shows. Sometimes 5, sometimes 3, sometimes 1. I mean, seriously, there's right. Nothing wrong with a 1 and done. There's nothing wrong with a 2 and done. There's nothing wrong with a 5 and done. I'm just saying, my only worry is that it will become that burnout for this show because they make it go for too long. And so fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But right now, I'm enjoying it. It's a nice reoccurring Star Wars show that is not specifically Skywalker and Jedis, and I think that's enjoyable.
And I agree with that. Again, I like.
And shame on the both of you for not having watched Andor yet. You suck, both of you. You suck.
I have a reason.
Either one of you about this. You both suck. That is an amazing show.
I'll tell you what.
I just got access back to his Disney Plus account, so that's why I didn't watch it.
Hey, you're not on my Disney account.
Did you ban MODOK?
I couldn't stand MODOK.
Why would you have done something like that?
Just to irritate him. Speaking of things that are going on too long, but there continues to be an ongoing rumor. So The Flash on their final season, which I watched a couple episodes. I didn't watch an episode. I watched a couple of clips, and it's just horrible. Like I said, nothing like meeting one of the actors from the show, and they go, "Yeah, 3 seasons of great, fantastic writing," and then he left it alone. Still one of my funniest times. I just sat there, looked at my daughter, and Zoe was like, "Told you." I'm like, not saying a thing. But the rumor is that Miller is out regardless. They're keeping, and I told Jason this the other day too, that they're just keeping about, well, yeah, Miller looks to be they're saying he's out completely, and they are saying it's Gustin who will replace. If it's Gustin who does replace him, and it's only a 3-year difference, so you can still play young or play old, however you want to do it in that universe.
Yeah, they're around the same ages. It's fine.
I would absolutely, exactly. I would absolutely keep Gustin.
Yeah, I agree.
I hope that happens.
I am, disappointed in Miller. And I wished he hadn't gone off the deep end and done all the crazy shit that he did.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, when you have somebody who may be unstable in life and then they get a lot of fame and they have a lot of people around them telling them they're the best thing ever, that's not a stable environment either. Getting so many kudos and so much so many people kissing your ass and telling you you're the greatest and telling you can have whatever you want and also praising your name.
Jason.
You could start to believe that, and you could start to go a really weird way where you bump into somebody at the airport like you would if we were normal people. We walk around the airport, you bump into someone, they're like, "Hey man, excuse me." You're like, "Oh yeah, sorry, no problem." They bump into somebody and like, "Do you know who the I am? You son of I'll kidnap you and put you in my basement." And they get all crazy, and you're like, "Whoa, dude," because they think they can do that because that's the world they live in. So there is a disconnect there, and I do think we need to take that into account. I'm not being apologetic for anybody. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying have understanding for people, and also don't kidnap folks. That's a bad thing to do. That's very bad. And so,
when did that happen?
It's a shame. I don't kidnap.
I mean, it's not like he just kidnapped some kids. It's not like he did something really crazy, like started a bi-weekly geek podcast with some of his friends.
I totally understand. I know where you're coming from on this. I mean, it's like, just a short trip to the planetarium with a group of kids. It's fine. But unwilling trip. But I wish, because he was
dark humor for everyone listening on the show. All one of you.
All one of you.
He was good in the movie. I liked him as the Flash, and I'm bummed.
He's a good actor.
I'm bummed that he's gone. He's crazy enough that he went off the deep end, and he's lost his. He's lost the audience, because it's like, man, it is really rough to be like, it's hard to watch a person who's done something like that. So that sucks. But to your point, Grant Gustin is amazing and has done an amazing job as the Flash all these years. And he plays a different Barry Allen, but I think it's gonna be great.
I hope it's true. What else? That last episode of The Last of Us. I know we haven't talked about a couple episodes, but wow. It's the last episode that was seen to me, that was an episode about innocence and it being lost.
Oh man,
it was beautifully done. Again, this is a show that you kind of keep waiting for the week episode, and it's just keeps building each week. Whether 2 weeks ago with his brother, and him coming to terms with the fact that he's getting older, he can't do some of the stuff he does, and the fact that his brother has really kind of found the perfect life. Yeah. So it's just episode after episode is just better and better.
So you mean like communist? No, it's not like that. Yes, it is.
Actually, it's exactly like that.
We are
actually, this is a commune.
We are communists.
Actually, it's an intentional community. If they were communists, they would have killed all the Jews. So yeah, it's an intentional community. Anyway.
I'm gonna go back to
that being said,
Killer, Jason. Go ahead. Just
that's fine.
Anyway, it was good. It was good. I like this. Yeah.
I like the idea that Joel is essentially what we see in Joel in that episode specifically is just the fact that it is the buildup of everything that he's had to do to survive and essentially avoid dealing with the death of his daughter.
Yeah. And you really could and that's the thing too, is I do like the fact that he never apologized to Ellie. He's just up there getting the horse, and I love the fact that he looks and goes, "I was gonna steal a horse and take her," and he's like, "I would have given you one." And your wife kind of took my gun. I already told you could take the gun. It's like, it's just those little moments. But yeah, it's in the last episode, them just the enjoyment over playing Mortal Kombat 2, and it took me a bit, because it's the realization that she never played a video game, not like that anyway.
Right.
More than likely never has. I mean, it's possible that they may have had some recreation that they stole somewhere. I'm sure that the soldiers, Fedra, they're not going to be they're going to go out and find stuff at least for themselves, because it does seem like that's how they're going to play this, is more dictatorship and less for the people by the people sort of situation. But yeah, you're right. Like, she'd never played anything like that before, and the joy, and I think, like you said, innocence, kind of that loss of the innocence. That entire episode, oddly enough, was one of the most suspenseful episodes I've ever seen.
You kept waiting for it,
right?
Kept waiting for it, yeah.
Because it wasn't like a jump scare. It wasn't anything that was it's too evident where they're like, hey, this is going to come, and this is. I mean, they foreshadowed it, and you knew something was happening. I just kept waiting for it to happen the entire time, and it doesn't happen until the end. And
it's fast.
Good on them.
Good on them. Good on them. Yeah.
And not only that, but it got late enough in the episode to where you actually thought maybe they're not gonna do it this episode. Maybe it'll be a flashback into the next episode. I mean, yeah, it was really done well. Again, that show continues to raise the bar each episode.
It's a character-driven show that works very well. By the way, my favorite part of both of these episodes was
the side quest.
The side quest. Yeah, no, the side quest is the best part of the show. The Indian couple they meet at the beginning. I forget the actor's name.
Graham Greene.
Graham Greene. Thank
they just
you.
keep laughing at each other. I love it.
Yeah, I love
tell him
that
the
actor.
truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
You telling me the truth?
You telling me the yeah.
And he still thinks about it and he goes, "We're here."
Yeah, he's like, all right, here we are. Yeah. He still gives that minute.
And I love the fact that they're walking out.
You made him soup?
I said
he
this
was hungry.
Yeah.
I said it out loud when they're walking out. I'm like, oh my God, steal the rabbit. And then she stops, turns around, and steals the rabbit. I'm like, yes.
Why we can shoot our own rabbits. Yeah, no, again, it was my favorite part of both episodes was that one scene. Just how well done it was. And again, I love Graham Greene. Thank you for I cannot remember his name. If you've never seen him on the Red Green show, he's brilliant.
Graham Greene was on the Red Green show?
Yes.
I've never seen him on that show before. I've seen him in Dances with Wolves.
He was.
I've seen him in.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen him in a lot of other things.
Yeah, he was in it.
I've never. Interesting. I haven't watched enough episodes of the Red Green show then to have seen the reoccurring character. Yeah. But yeah, he didn't
appear in every episode. He was a recurring character though.
One of my favorite roles for him, and I think this one flies really under the radar, is Thunderheart. Which was Graham Greene and Val Kilmer, and Val Kilmer is an FBI whose either mother or father was a Native American from that same tribe, and he comes back to investigate this murder. Thunderheart's a good movie, flies under the radar, but I loved his character in that he's so sarcastic and just an asshat, and it's fantastic.
I love the fact that he
doesn't have a long time. You're right.
He doesn't have any issue with playing in B and C movies. He was, had a part in Atlantic Rim. So just throwing that out there. And V for Vengeance.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
He's done some other. No, but seriously, anytime a character like that can take himself and be like, I don't care what I'm in, you're giving me a paycheck. Who cares? I've been in the best movies and the worst movies. I don't care about
He's there to do his job.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Was there any other movies that we missed or anything that I'm thinking TV shows? I mean, I'm sure a lot. We just don't really delve into everything.
Oh man, there was one that I saw a preview for that I was looking forward to.
Say it.
What was it?
Because do you want me to say it? I'll say it.
What was the name?
The trailer. The trailer dropped this weekend, and I loved it.
It was called the Blackout.
No,
the Blackening. That's what it was. The Blackening.
The Blackening.
It makes fun of every It's basically a serious-er, in my opinion, version of Scary Movie.
Yeah. They basically took the premise for they gave it the Scary Movie treatment, but made it serious.
In a serious way, because they're all serious. But I love the fact that they look at each other and they're talking about just the killer's even like calling out the stereotypes and the fact that he's like, one of you's gonna die, and you're gonna be the first to die, but you got to choose who. And they're like, we're not judging anybody by this. But yeah, that was. And then I've got a gun. Oh, damn. Hey yo! Damn, that's 2 DMX. Like just those
you
little
just said
bits.
That's 2 DMX. I was like, wow,
that was 2 DMX. That was 2 DMX, and I was just like, oh, rest in peace, man. It sucks.
Yeah. Directed by Tim Story.
By who?
Tim Story.
Oh, okay.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, Fantastic Four director. Both.
I know he did Barbershop.
Yeah.
That's Tim. Yeah, that's Tim Story. Yeah. Yeah, he did both.
Okay.
He did both the Fantastic Four movies.
But yeah, it looks funny, and I love that they're just making fun of that stereotypical, all the stereotypes. Anything that makes fun of stereotypes to me is funny because stereotypes are funny.
What are you trying to say, white guy?
What did he say? I'm gonna start calling my wife. What did he say? I'm gonna start calling my wife the man or whatever it was, or the white man or something.
Yeah. He said, "Quit calling my wife the man."
Oh, quit calling the white man. Yeah.
And he was like, "She's white. I get it."
I didn't get a chance to send you all the trailer. Another friend of mine sent me one it's called Glorious. I'll send you. We'll have to talk about it later. It looks both disturbing and hilarious. It's got J.K. Simmons as a deity that lives in a glory hole in a rest stop.
I think we're going to end the show on that because I don't think we can top that.
All right. Yeah, great show, guys.
All right, good for Gene Simmons. Wrong Simmons. Although he's got
it would make sense.
Yeah,
he puts his name on everything, so that's possible.
It would make sense.
Yeah, I don't see.
I can see that little
I can work
tongue poking out of that hole every once.
That's what I'm saying.
I got it. Jason, I want to say wrap us up, but I don't know if I can.
We can't. Just it's over. Just push the button.
I'm playing the outro. Sarah, goodbyes, Jason.
Why this? If you put up with this, God bless you. Go say thank you to Titan Comics. Give Jeremy a high five and go buy something. He's the best. He's got all the geeky accoutrement for the nerd in your life. If it's not just you, but let's be honest, it's probably just you.
Probably.
On that note, we'll see you next time we decide to see you. It may be 2 weeks, maybe a month. Who knows?
That'll be what happens. All right, y'all have a great weekend.
This show is a side quest for us. What do you expect?
You know what? Go out, be happy, and be on your side quest. Level up, folks.